Hello Wasteland 2 backers, this is Chris Keenan from An Exile Entertainment, project lead on Wasteland 2. Team's been hard at work for the last couple months, going through the entire build, getting ready for feature complete, and we've also put together this demo for you. We're pretty excited about it. The level we're showing off today is the prison. It's about the 4th or 5th level in the game. The prison used to be the home of the Rangers back in the original Wasteland, and now it's been taken over by the Red Scorpion militia after the Rangers took off.
This pre-recorded message is brought to you by RSM Enterprises, Inc.
The Arizona Waste is a harsh and unforgiving place. With Desert Ranger patrols few and far between these days, it's no surprise many families are wondering where they can find safety and security. Well, look no further. Happy Valley is the answer to your prayers. Formerly the Arizona State Maximum Security Prison, but now an attractive community managed by the folks at RSM Enterprises, Inc. You won't believe how safe you feel nestled within the sheltering borders of Happy Valley. With 24-hour canine security patrols and our Circle of Wagons street plan, you'll never need to worry about being alone or unprotected again. Now, here's our Commander Danforth, founder of RSM Enterprises, with a personal welcome to all potential Happy Valley homesteaders.
Hey folks, don't let those damn Rangers tell you otherwise. Happy Valley is the safest place in the Waste, so get your lot quick before they're gone.
You shouldn't say damn. It's a sales pitch.
Oh hell, sorry.
It's fine. Next time.
So here we're coming up to Fred Darvis, which is the first encounter in the prison. This conversation is a pretty good example of something that we think makes for good RPGs. It's short-term and long-term reactivity. We define short-term reactivity as something that'll happen within the next, couple minutes of gameplay or next 5 minutes of gameplay, something that you see right off the bat after you handle a conversation or go through an encounter. Long-term reactivity, on the other hand, can happen multiple levels away, and they can have cascading responses because of it. In this conversation with Fred Darvis, you find out that his cart is stuck in the mud and his goat really isn't doing a whole lot to help him out. So you'll see that a couple different keywords pop up on the screen, one of those being trade. If you try to trade with Fred Darvis right off the bat, he's not going to do it because you need to help him out first. So you can see on the bottom of the HUD, below the character portraits, is a hotkey bar. The hotkey bar has a few different skills on it. You'll notice as we select brute force for one of the characters and hover over the object, it shows that it's hard. That uses our relative difficulty skill system. We set this system up as an attempt to reduce the amount of micromanagement. Being that you can have between 4 and 7 players at any one point, we don't want you to have to go into your character sheet every time you want to check a level of any one of your skills. Based on the level of your skill and the level of the object, the percent chance of success is different. So by selecting a different character, we go to use brute force on it, and we notice that the relative difficulty system says that it's easy. That means you have a much higher percent chance. You'll also notice that it took a lot less time to go through it. So once we've helped Fred push his cart out of the ditch, we can go back and talk to him, and there we get the short-term reactivity that he has now turned into a store, so he'll allow us to trade with him. In the future, the long-term reactivity with Fred is that he shows up a couple levels later with a much different set of wares and also a couple bodyguards since he's been harassed a little bit along the way. The economy of Wasteland 2 isn't just built around trading cash for items. We also have people who will trade goods with you as well and barter. As we've said before, radio plays a huge role in Wasteland 2. Here's a short example of the CB radio, which is a local distress call.
If you can hear me, please come back. Don't let me die alone. I can't take the pain any longer.
Receiving that radio call would add an optional mission to find the source.
Please, Elroy. Oh, Elroy. Elroy.
So now we've come across a sick woman who was sending out the distress call earlier over the CB radio. In the Wasteland, there's multiple ways to solve just about anything. So if you had a high level of surgeon right here, you could possibly try to heal her that way. Another option would be to head out into the Wasteland and try and find Elroy. Or a third option would even be to go out and see if you could find the medicine yourself. The final option would be to do as she's asking and put her out of her misery. You'll notice that after we killed her, there was no morality meter that popped up. There's a very specific reason for that. We as game designers are not going to judge you, the player, based on things that we think you should or shouldn't have done within each one encounter. The world will judge you though. As you look at the bottom of the HUD, you notice that there's 4 portraits and 3 empty slots next to those portraits. Those empty slots are for the companion NPCs. Currently, there's over 20 companion NPCs that can join your party throughout the entire game. Some of them will join right away, others you might have to convince, others you might not even want in your party.
This pre-recorded message is brought to you by RSM Enterprises, Inc.
Happy Valley isn't just about safety. It's about quality of life, too. We have the finest farms in the Arizona wastes, with more than enough food to feed everyone who joins us, and cozy little general stores, too. We also have an arrangement with the high pool that assures that we will never run out of water. Truly, there is no place in Arizona more pleasant than Happy Valley.
I'm Commander Danforth of RSM Enterprises, and I approve this message. There, I didn't fuck it up this time. Satisfied now?
Thank you, Commander Danforth. That was fine.
This is a good scene to give you a brief overview of the conversation system. As you talk to different NPCs in the world, you will start to discover different keywords. You'll notice that some of the text is highlighted a different color, and then the keyword pops up below. As you discover different keywords, you can use them, which will then allow the conversations to branch in different ways, possibly open up new pieces of conversation or cut off others. When we showed up on the scene, Assessor von Overbeek was shaking down poor Gladys. When we then ask him, what do you care about our guns, he turns his aggression towards us. So we'll go ahead and say yes and pay him off for the gun tax, and notice that he actually turns around and walks away. Back to the reactivity, had we said no, I can assure you it would have been a different outcome.
Recorded message is brought to you by RSM Enterprises, Inc.
This is Commander Danforth of the Red Scorpion Militia. You're about to trespass on Red Scorpion territory. Turn around immediately. Trespassers will be shot and fed to my dogs. Desert Rangers will be fed to my dogs alive.
But if you are instead a potential homesteader or interested in viewing one of our attractive farming lots, please come see us at the RSM Enterprises rental office, securely located just inside the prison. Thank you.
If we were actually playing the game from the beginning all the way through, this guy over here on the right is the reason that we would have came to this level. His name is Red, but we're going to go ahead and skip past him and head up towards the hill. So Red warned us that there were gophers up in the hill, and we see a little sign down there that looks like something's off because we stumbled into a minefield. If we had perception, we'd be able to see the mines around us. But since we don't have perception on this character, we're going to go ahead and switch to Animal Whisperer skill and try and use it on one of the goats. Sure enough, that worked. I promise that not all uses of Animal Whisperer are going to include blowing up animals, but going back to multiple ways to solve things, once you unveiled the mines with perception, you would then be able to use your demolition skill to disarm them. At that point, you could pick them up, put them into your inventory, and use them within combat. Another option would be just to walk through it, soak up the damage, and then go back to your field medic to have him heal you back up to full. When we started working on Wasteland 2, we made a commitment that we were okay with making content that not everybody's going to be able to see, especially on a first playthrough. In fact, in the first 30 minutes of gameplay, you're going to have to make a choice that's going to cut off an entire level, which is approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of gameplay based on a single decision. As we walk up to this fortified stronghold, we see some Red Scorpion militia that don't look too happy that we're here. And combat starts. But because we paid Von Overbeek earlier, he's going to go ahead and give us a free pass on this one. Going back to multiple ways to solve everything, had we not paid him, we probably would have had to fight our way through. Otherwise, we could have gone over to the right, disarmed an alarm, and snuck our way through the gate. So now we're about to roll up to our first major combat encounter in the demo. Up until now we've been moving everybody around together, but we'll go ahead and break them apart to get a little bit more of a tactical approach to this combat. So first we're going to collect our sniper, have her move up onto a height advantage, and go into a good spot that she can overlook the battlefield. When you are in a height advantage in this game, you do get a bonus to your chance to hit, as well as to your evasion. So then we'll grab the SMG character, move him around to the right, through the little side alley, and get prepared to rush in. And the other two guys will move right up to the front gate. At this point, we make a decision how we're going to go ahead and start it. Pick the sniper, and the first target. You'll notice that we do have a grid-based combat. You can either have the grid defaulted on or off as you play. When we talk about combat being tactical and strategic, there are a few design decisions that we made along the way that made this so. One of those was having a cover system, and cover does play a very big role in this game. With over 12 combat skills in the game, we wanted to make sure that whatever gun you choose can be viable from the beginning of the game all the way through to the end. Now that doesn't mean that every single situation that gun is going to be useful. It's all about the trade-off. In our game, bullets are extremely scarce, which means that something like a handgun is going to be very efficient using each one of those rounds. If you always walk in with an SMG on full burst, more than likely you're going to lose a lot of rounds to misses because of a lower chance to hit. Higher caliber weapons like assault rifles and sniper rifles are going to use much more expensive rounds, but there comes a trade-off again. Those weapons have a much higher penetration value. Bullets have both a penetration value and an expansion damage value. This comes from the type of bullet that it is. Hollow point bullets are going to have a much lower penetration value but will deal a much higher expansion damage. Armor-piercing rounds or depleted uranium rounds are going to have much higher penetration values. There are many more details and weapon combinations to be found within the Wasteland, but now that you know the basics, we'll go ahead and let combat play out a little bit. If you want to see the range of your selected weapon, hover over the weapon in the lower left-hand corner and you'll see 3 different colors. The yellow represents your base chance to hit with that weapon type. The red is a pretty good drop-off, which is going to be a little more of a Hail Mary shot, and the green is actually a bonus to your chance to hit. The relationship between these colors changes not only by the weapon type, but also the individual weapon within each type. The final 3 enemies coming into combat were called in by the leader. That's one of his AI actions. Something we try to do in this game is make sure that there was enough AI to constantly keep you guys thinking and on your toes. The 2 heavily armored guys that came in with the big machine guns, you'll notice that they won't take cover. They move a lot slower, but they're going to do a bunch of damage quickly. The little unassuming robot is the Disco Bot. He's more of a support type character. He'll try to get to a zone where he can spot as many rangers as possible, paint them with his lasers, which is immediately going to give everybody who fires at those rangers an additional chance to hit bonus. If one of your characters had synth tech, and you could beat the skill check on the robot, you could potentially turn him onto your side, which would make him chase after his guys and give you a bonus. So once again, we want to thank everybody for watching and backing. We really hope that you enjoyed this video, and please stay tuned for more updates from the world of Wasteland 2.
Oh yeah, you nailed it.
Nailed it!